So over the last few weeks, I've actually gotten quite a few questions about horseshoe wells and their importance in the industry. Now, I was fortunate enough to work on the team that completed the first ever horseshoe well in the United States back in 2019. It was called the Neely well. So this is what a typical horizontal well looks like. You go down and then you go sideways, right? And this part of the well right here, this part of the well, this is the part of well that produces oil and gas, this right here. Now, the longer this is, the more oil and gas your well will produce. And one of the restrictions of horizontal drilling are property lines. So let's pretend that this is the property line, and that's why they have to stop right there. The longer you can make that, the more oil that well will produce. When you have enough acreage to drill out 2 miles, then you don't need to drill horseshoe wells. You don't. It's when you are limited by property lines. So let's say you can only drill out 5,000 feet, but you really want a 10,000 feet producing section. So you need to figure out how to make that 5,000 feet section 10,000 feet. So this is what we did. Okay? We went out, and then we just turned around and came back. Now, you can't tell it with this graphic, but the distance between those two lines, those two parallel lines, is about 1,300 or 1,400 feet. That's how far apart those are. So by going out, turning around, and coming back, what you have done is you have drilled basically 2 different wells. You have 2 different producing sections of a well that you've drilled with a singular well bore, which is this right here. This will essentially double the production from just this, if this was the only thing that existed. That right there can be the difference between, a well producing 1,000 barrels a day and a well producing 2,000 barrels a day. It can also be the difference in longevity of the well, decline rate of the well, all kinds of stuff. It's kind of a 2 for 1. You're getting two wells. You're getting the production of 2 wells for 1. And so it saves you roughly 30% cost over drilling 2 different wells in drilling and completions. Yeah. And these are becoming much, much more common in areas where oil companies are restricted by property lines and can't go out as far as they would like to. So if you can imagine the technology involved in that, you go down, you drill a hole down, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 feet, depending on what zone you're targeting. And then you go out a mile. You go away from you a mile, and then you turn, and you go that way, 1,300 feet, and then you come back towards you another mile, another 5,000 feet. Yeah, that is how, technology is moving the oil and gas industry forward in amazing ways. That right there is not something probably anyone could have thought we would do 20, 30 years ago. But that's what a horseshoe well is. And the reason they exist, a lot of properties have lease lines that they can't cross. And it's basically a 2 for 1. Yeah, thanks.